Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm engraving a photo on plywood. Same laser, same file, same settings, and still very different results. Every workshop needs a brand. Even if it's only respected by one person, this is my logo. I might look like a king here, but only in my own garage. Before engraving, the image itself still matters, but probably not in the way most people expect. I'm not trying to extract every possible detail from the photo. On plywood, that usually makes things worse. What I care about is readable contrast. No crushed shadows, no blown highlights. If a face already struggles in a flat grayscale image, plywood will amplify that problem, not fix it. Image preparation can reduce extremes. It can't make plywood behave consistently. Once the veneer density changes, the image changes with it. That's where material takes over. Photo engraving on plywood is unpredictable, not because the laser is unreliable, but because the material is. This isn't a settings problem. Plywood isn't one material. It's a stack of different woods, different densities, and glue layers holding everything together. A photo engraving exaggerates every one of those differences. Grain direction, glue lines, veneer thickness, they all show up in the final image. On the screen, everything looks controlled. Gray values, smooth transitions, predictable output. The file assumes the material behaves evenly. Plywood never agreed to that. These settings don't decide how the image looks. They only decide how strongly the laser reacts to whatever the material happens to be that day. Sodium bicarbonate helps increase contrast. It doesn't increase consistency. What it really does is amplify what's already there. If the veneer is uneven, the engraving will be uneven, just darker. This is where photo engravings usually fail on plywood. Not because of power, not because of speed, but because the material isn't uniform. You can see the same face, shift tone across the surface, even though the file never changes. Some people turn air assist off to reduce cleanup. I don't. Fire risk, smoke buildup, and dirty optics matter more to me than sanding for a minute. I'd rather clean wood than replace lenses. Photo engraving exaggerates surface noise. Sanding isn't optional here. Not to make it perfect, but to make it intentional. This is where design matters more than technique. The integrated frame doesn't fix the material. It works around it. It hides weak edges, controls where the eye goes, and gives the engraving room to breathe. These are not clamps. They're predictable, flat, heavy, and they don't argue with glue, which makes them perfect for this job. This particular photo happens to be personal, but the engraving challenges would be exactly the same with any image. Plywood doesn't care what's in the picture, it only reacts to what it's made of. Photo engraving on plywood will never be perfect. The goal isn't perfection, it's predictability, and designing around the limits of the material. If you're interested in laser material behavior, real-world engraving results, and design decisions, that's what this channel is about. Subscribe if that sounds useful. Thanks for watching.